Hey guys, Justin from LitTube here. There is a developing news story that is not being covered by the mainstream media. And by mainstream media, I mean MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. That's right, Fox, you're part of the mainstream media too. And everything else you see on the television news networks, that the cable television news, they're just not reporting some important stories. They're hyper focused on particular stories that fit their agenda, and so I'm going to bring you a story that should be of concern to everyone that, believes that the United States has a debt problem. I'm talking about the fiscal conservatives, the deficit hawks out there, or just any common people that are concerned about the United States budget situation, which, by the way, everybody should be because interest on the debt is quickly becoming a top budget item for us to pay. So you'll notice in the links in the description, I'm going to provide a full news article if you want to read through what I'm about to give you the highlights on. And then there's also going to be a link to the U.S. debt clock that is an official government website that will break down all of the budget and how much money we owe in terms of our debt deficit and all that. So I want you guys to take some time to research this stuff on your own, but I'm going to provide you the highlights on this news story that broke.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this story, let me first just start off by saying that the F-35 jet program is already the most expensive United States weapon program ever. So in United States history, there's never been a single program where we've spent more money than what we're estimated to spend on the F-35 fighter jet program from Lockheed Martin. So to delve into the numbers further, there were previous estimates that this program would cost $379 billion and $398.5 billion. Those are earlier year estimates. Now, the estimate has increased another 7% to $406.5 billion. So that is a $27.5 billion increase over the previous estimate. And the Pentagon's F-35 program office said in a statement that these increase in cost estimate is due to research, development, and procurement and military construction. And additionally, there's a separate cost over the long term estimated for $1.1 trillion for operations and support to keep the aircraft flying until 2070. So over the long term, these jets are going to cost us $1.1 trillion. For now, just in the development phase, the estimate is $406.5 billion. But any way you slice it, guys, should we be spending this much money on a single military program? I mean, do we not already have fighter jets and other types of planes that are perfectly capable of achieving the missions we need to achieve? And at a time when our debt, if we go over to usdebtclot.org right now, I can see that the United States national debt has crossed over the $19.9 trillion mark. We're just waiting to hit that $20 trillion mark that all the analysts have said is the point of no return for our debt in this country. I mean, guys, we have got to cut back on the military spending because it's one of the areas that makes the most sense to cut. I mean, it's the number 3 budget item is defense and war. The number 5 budget item is net interest on the debt. So you see the direction we're going in, and it's really not good at all. Now, in fairness to the Republicans, many of which have pushed for these types of programs and increased military spending, Donald Trump and John McCain have both been on record saying that they basically campaigning to get the costs down for these programs. Now, I don't know how they're going to achieve that, though. I mean, saying you want costs to be lower isn't enough to get them lowered. At the end of the day, I believe that the Pentagon and the United States government is going to cave to the demands of Lockheed Martin, that's the corporation that's running this program. And by the way, I don't throw any shade on Lockheed Martin. I mean, they're a corporation just trying to extract as much profits as they can from our government. But for the people that are representing us in the government, we need to be able to stand up and tell them to stop wasting our money on this crap. Because here's the thing. We already have the strongest military in the world 10 times over, and if you're going to be wasting billions and trillions on new and updated planes, well, that's only going to make the budget crisis worse.